Okay, back with a vlog. It's been quite some time, but today's vlog is about how within the past year I've gone from working in the cannabis industry for the past 7 years to pivoting entirely to virtual production and game development. Okay, so it's been about 3 years since I started studying 3D design. It started with making myself into a custom sim, and as you guys know, back a while ago I made a video on using the Sims to manifest things, and which pretty much I took my actual face and then like made a face mask and put on my sim. So that was like the first bit of CC that I learned at the time when I was deep in playing the Sims. And since then it kind of just turned into a cascade of me just learning to do a whole bunch of other stuff. At the time, in the past 3 years, I was still working in some of the cannabis shops or working for some brands, doing brand ambassador stuff, and really just moving around all of LA doing all kinds of jobs. And I was starting to like create my cannabis Instagram. So I was doing a lot of cannabis reviews on products, different kinds of products, drink, edible, smoking, you know, the whole nine. And I thought it would be cool to actually create like reviews that were kind of gamified, like, you know, when you're on a map and you pick up an item and you get like the specs of the item. That was the idea. So I actually started using Polycam, using photogrammetry, and from there actually learned to start editing different objects and texturing, UV maps, like the whole nine, as soon as I got into Blender. So it's been only 3 years that I've been doing this, and I would say I've come a pretty long way, and it's just because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. That'll do it. So just to summarize really quickly, my feelings about the cannabis industry, after a while it just didn't feel like a fruitful venture to even bother to be in the industry, at least as far as doing customer facing roles. Like I just fucking hate customer facing roles. I really don't want anything to do with any more customer facing roles, aka like anything that requires customer service, or like to me, you know, I've done like almost every position in the industry. I've worked in cultivation, mostly just trimming. I've worked in distillation lab, which was fucking insane. You know, I've worked in just packing pre-rolls or bagging weed. I've worked as a delivery driver, a bud tender, a brand ambassador, which that was like my absolute worst job, having to drive around all of LA and then do like demos at shops and shit. And it's just not for me. It's not for me. Also, it just doesn't make enough money. So I just started getting like really tired of it, and I was like, how can I use the skills that I have right now to like actually do this professionally and make more money? So I did, you know, after a point from posting those 3D reviews, I did get some graphic design contract work with cannabis brands. I still do from time to time, but it's not my central focus anymore, because now my central focus is actually just virtual production and game development entirely. And that could include cannabis basically, but most of the work I do centers on virtual fashion, and I absolutely love it. It's like my favorite type of work. It's hard, it's challenging, it keeps me busy. So basically the way I started getting jobs is posting on social media. I have experimented in every way possible. You really cannot be afraid of making some bad shit, and you're not going to be good at it immediately. I practice basically every single day. There was a period of time where I was stuck in tutorial hell, where you basically just watch a whole bunch of tutorials, but you have to like actually open the program and do something. Of course, most people start with the donut tutorial. by Blender Guru. I never finished it. For me, the best way that I learned a whole bunch of things was just to give myself an idea of something to do, like the cannabis reviews, and figure out how to do that. The photogrammetry was the first method, and then after a while I was like, cool, how do I make objects from scratch? How do I create textures and packaging? How do I render using Eevee? How do I render using cycles? What are the best settings? Just playing around, spending hours. I've spent hours also learning sim renders to like actually make sim renders and create custom content. Like there's actually a lot of stuff that I've made at this point as far as objects and clothing and like just assets. I have like a library at this point. I just have yet to put it on The Sims because I have beef with like Blender 2.7 and 2.79, which tends to be the two that you need to use to optimize your objects to put on Sims. So that's why I haven't put any custom content on The Sims. I will do it at some point. I just really fucking hate Blender 2.7. I just hate it. It's just so ugly and it's like old. But it's like, I guess like that's the only way right now. I have yet to see any tutorials that actually use like newest blenders and they're putting their custom content through, optimizing it through there. I don't know. We'll get to it at a point. But I can make all kinds of stuff at this point. Environments, clothing, hair. I just started learning to make hair, which is really hard. It's like, to me, it's been the hardest thing I've really tried to tackle, but I intend to be good at it no matter what. So my stack, I would say at this moment, is Blender, Unreal Engine 5. I love Unreal Engine 5 because it has real-time rendering and it's like really powerful. It's free. Blender and Unreal Engine are free, so you know there's nothing you can't do with it. And they have a lot of add-ons, they have a lot of plugins that like really help you optimize your workflow and make things a little easier for you. Like if you can find a way to make things a little bit easier, then it's good, because it is hard to like make everything from scratch. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of work. There's also like kit bashing, where you can like buy a group of assets or like a whole environment, or you know, honestly it's really just about doing as many projects as possible and like filling up that portfolio, posting your work online, you know, kind of putting yourself out there if you do want to work in this type of field. Something that I plan on getting really good at this year, that I've dabbled in since, I don't know, it's been like maybe 6 months, is like AR, lots of AR filters. There's like some avatars I've made that I just play around in an AR, and you know, some of the events I've done, we use that. I also am learning C++, I'm learning C#, so I can use it for VR and other AR stuff. And I am at this point going to start learning Unity too, because I don't see why not. For me, I would say I'm just a 3D generalist. Like I just want to be able to make anything and everything. Some of the other software I use is like Style 3D. It's similar to Clo 3D. It's fairly new software, very good, very powerful. You can render and animate all in one software. I really love it. So I do a lot of work on there. And then DAZ 3D, of course. I use DAZ 3D. DAZ 3D can be a little pricey. I mean, it's free, but it can be pricey to buy assets. But honestly, I think it's worth it. You know, of course, with any commercial projects, you want to buy the license to anything if you're not going to make it from scratch, which is important. But you know, if it's a personal project, then you know you have a lot of leeway to work with. But I think it's just crucial to build a portfolio and just do it. Just do it. So as of lately, you know, if there's an event and there's like screen visuals, I will get paid to create visuals. I get paid to create avatars for people. I'm currently finally doing the VTubing thing. I just created my first avatar that I'm gonna actually use. I've already created a few different avatars using VRoid, but there are some other like more hyper realistic avatars that I'm working on that I want to use to live stream with. and just play around. The mocapping part is coming as well. I'm looking for all the ways I could do like some really high-end mocapping without having to have like high-end expensive equipment. But you know, maybe if I get sponsored and I get like a suit or something, oh my god, there's a lot to do. This year is gonna be really busy. But yeah, last year I finally, you know, the floodgates opened and I started getting jobs where not only am I getting paid to do that design work, but I'm also able to travel and have my expenses paid, and it's just really nice. This is a job that like I never even thought was a thing up until last year. I was like, oh, duh. But also virtual fashion and mixed reality in general right now is super new. It's very new technology, and because it's new, you know, you're gonna start seeing a lot more brands use AR type of marketing, virtual fashion. You know, also with the avatars in general, I've always made a point to say that to me, I think avatars are pretty important to be in the physical and virtual realm, but they're like an extension of yourself. So there's a multi-million-dollar industry in having avatars and digital assets, and I think it's only going to keep going up from there. So to me, I see immense value in definitely being in a virtual space. And now we have mixed reality, so it's just really fun. I just have a good time. The work is challenging. It's hard. I wouldn't say it's easy, especially if you are just kind of bootstrapping it as well. It's not going to be easy because things cost a lot of money, but if you can find ways to make some cool stuff without having to break your wallet, then there's nothing you can't do, you know. So yeah, that's been my journey the past 3 years, but within this last year doing things professionally, it's really great. And yeah, there's more to come.